Welcome back, everybody, and thanks for joining me. So last October, my wife and I decided to take a risk and buy 80 acres of farmland. This was at a public auction. The auction had 2 tracks, both were 80 acres. The north track was a lot flatter, it was spot tiled, and it had a nice waterway splitting the center of it. And the south track, it was pattern tiled, and it had about 15 acres of CRP on it and 9 acres of woods. What attracted us to this piece of ground were 3 things. 1, it's pattern tiled nicely. 2, we know who farmed it and how well it's taken care of. And 3, the biggest reason, close to home. When I say close to home, I mean like within a mile. Someone's super thrilled about our purchase too.
What purchase?
The field.
Oh, yeah, it's Lucy's field.
To get into the auction basics, my buddy and I won this as a combo together, and we split the tracks afterwards. I took the south track and he took the north track, and the whole auction lasted about 45 minutes altogether. The amount of people that were there was kind of surprising, although it was on site and not where they typically had been, which is typically in a nice building with food provided. It was on site. It was kind of nice. So after about an hour of bidding, we finally felt like we were getting to the home stretch of the auction when it hit about $7,000 an acre. When it hit that mark, we were the only ones that were there bidding. And after that, there was an online bidder that would literally wait to the last possible second to submit his bid. And after about 20 minutes of that, we ended up getting it for about $8,900 an acre. To say the least, I'm pretty excited. I went in with a price in my mind that I did not want to go over, and that was about $9,000 an acre. So yeah, I was a little bit under that. So the market around here has been absolutely crazy. We are in Northwest Ohio, and about 5 to 7 years ago, it was about $4,000 to $5,000 an acre. In 2021, there was 68 acres down the road that sold for $11,000 an acre. And last year, there was about 400 acres, kind of all bunched together, that sold for about $9,200 an acre. So comparing it to recent sales around this area, I think we did okay. At least for it being a public auction, and that's about as a free market as it gets. So really the most interesting about this is that the field directly on the other side of the road came up for auction about 2 months after we bought this one. And that is about 240 acres. And that field sold for, I think, $9,900 an acre. So not even 2 months later, $1,000 more an acre. So now that I got the cost out of the way, I think I'd like to go into how I went about getting a loan for this. Long story short, it can be a headache. I decided the best route was to get FSA involved. This can be tricky because I really need to know the exact monetary amount that you plan on trying to get a loan for. You only have 60 days to close on the property, and with the amount of paperwork you have to do, going through FSA through an auction it's not easy. It's not easy because you have to get approved. Whereas a commercial lender, you can do all your pre-approvals and whatnot, so I would definitely recommend finding a good banker and hope like heck that your FSA loan officer is very, very good. And in my case, I have 2 good ones. So yes, I got very lucky. So we decided the best option for us was a beginning farmer 50-50 loan. Your lender takes half and the FSA takes the other 50%. And there's no down payment needed. And they have requirements on here though, and like you cannot have operated a farm for more than 10 years. And in my case, this will be my first year because I've farmed under my dad since I could walk. So I will say going through this process is 100% worth it. Off the top of my head, my interest rate through FSA I think is 3.25%, and that makes my payment at the end of the year around $15,000 to $16,000 a year. My commercial lender rate is around 8%, and my payment for them is $33,000 to $34,000 a year. So yeah, almost double. I will say what is nice about my commercial lender is that I'll be able to get patronage at the end of the year, cross my fingers. I have not gotten that check yet, so I don't know how much it'll be. I'm anticipating around $4,000 to $6,000. I'm not sure, so it's my first year. Now some of you are probably thinking, how does this cash flow? Well, that's a great question. That is really dependent on a number of things. For example, Mother Nature, grain markets. At the current prices, we'll probably be losing money for the first however long. There's probably no doubt about that, especially with an 8% interest rate. This is why we both have full-time jobs. It's an investment for sure, and it'll probably be the last field we buy for quite some time. Another thing is equipment. I have nothing to hide or feel ashamed of in saying that I will be using my parents' equipment. I grew up with it. I've been a part of this operation since I could walk. I really do not see any way someone starting out could be a farmer. There's no way with the equipment costs, input costs, land cost. I don't know how you do it. So yeah, having equipment that's readily available helps a lot, and there's nothing to hide from that. I will admit, my 620 does pull a trailer on the farm. I guess the whole point of this video is not me bragging to you about buying land. I guess I just wanted to share with you what land is currently going for in my area, which is Northwest Ohio, and overall how I went about getting a loan through this process. Later in the year, I would like to make a video detailing my expenses and how everything went through this past year. So yes, stay tuned. So thank you guys for joining me. It's just a quick video, kind of to the point. Thank you all for the support since I started this channel about almost a year ago, and I really appreciate it. So thanks for watching. Give me a thumbs up, comment your thoughts. I'm sure I'll get comments of all sorts of kinds. So yes, thanks for watching. And if you do stick around for a little bit longer after this somewhat informative video, here's a little equipment tour. This is the 5100M. I call it eeny weeny teeny weeny. It's small, but it's currently on the fertilizer cart. This is the tractor we've had since day one that you've seen in the video earlier. It's our 4955 my dad bought in 2009. It pulls our corn planter now. And there's the Kinze that'll be going away this year. We're going to a Central Fill, a John Deere planter, due to a steep creek crossing. This will not make it over it. There's our other 4630. This is just hauls our wagons. And back there is the big guns, the 9250 International. The only red tractor on our farm, and probably only ever on our farm. I kid, case isn't bad.